Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of my Wrath of the Lich King beta testing with viewers. I can't believe we're soon at episode 10. In the beginning I didn't expect this to happen and also all of the different questions. But I'm glad I can help you get some answers, especially because so many of you haven't got a beta yet. The reason why I'm showing you this clip is because I'm so curious about why the level 60 version of Naxxramas attunement is still in the game. Will we maybe be able to do this in Wrath of the Lich King as well to collect some more tier 3 items, Ashbringers and Etiish? Hopefully we'll get some answers anytime soon, because right now it makes no sense why this quest will be in the game if there's not going to be a level 60 version of Naxxramas. Thomas would like to know if Gift of Naru is an instant cast in Wrath of the Lich King, because back in Burning Crusade it had a cast time. And yes, this racial will be an instant cast. And yes, it will also scale with spell power, and even snapshot. So for example, as you see right here, I cast a Gift of Naru, it will now snapshot compared to the spell power I had when I casted this. So even though I equip a weapon, it will not increase the healing. That's why I also mentioned snapshotting. So if you have an active trinket that increases spell power and you use the Gift of Naru and the trinket expires, then it will snapshot compared to the spell power you had when you casted Gift of Naru. Therefore, it will also continue to do the same amount of healing. It seems like Death Knights will also be able to kite their targets until they die, because as of right now there is no DR under Chains of Ice, and this simply allows the Death Knight to keep applying the slow on the target but also the damage over time. Now that I'm already covering Death Knights, then there's also a question regarding buffing your gargoyle, and if you will for example be able to use a scroll on this pet. When I tested this, I managed to cast a scroll on the gargoyle, so yes, you will be able to buff your pet, but I sadly can't confirm if it will do anything to the damage, because I can't see the stats of the gargoyle before and after applying the buff. It will now be so much easier as a warlock to get your epic riding mount. Back in Vanilla and Burning Crusade you had to do a huge quest chain in order to unlock this, but in Wrath of the Lich King it will change and now you just need to go to your trainer to learn it. The price for this mount is also so cheap, it's less than 2 gold, so on a fresh server this will have a huge impact on how fast you will get your mount, but also get to level 70. This is also the same case with the Paladin mount, because you no longer need to do the quest chain in order to get this. Talking about Paladins, then there's also a question regarding Consecration and what will benefit this spell. Is it going to be spell power, attack power or strength? I've decided to purchase some green gems so we can test this fairly quick. And the tooltip you see right now is the current damage you do without any of the gems. This allows us to easily compare the different stats. The total amount of damage done by Consecration were 1126 before I applied the gem, and after applying the gem it's 1128. So the 7 spell power only increased the total amount of damage done by 2. When I tested this with an attack power gem, it increased the total amount of damage done by an additional 2. So right now attack power is better than spell power. They have also removed spell power from the different protection paladin items from Burning Crusade, and replace this with even more strength. So now I just need to test the strength gem to see if this is going to improve my paladin's abilities even more. The total amount of damage done is exactly the same when you compare strength and attack power. But one important thing about strength is that it also increases my block, so strength will be better. At the same time, in the protection paladin tree there's also a talent you can spend 5 points into, and when you do this you increase your total strength by 15%. So overall, strength will be a lot better compared to attack power, but also spell power. Henrike would like to know if you get any experience whenever you do mining or herbalism in Wrath of the Lich King. And no, you will not be able to get experience when you do gather professions in Wrath of the Lich King. This was implemented way later, in the next expansion, Cataclysm. In one of the previous videos, I showed experience was nerfed by a high amount between level 60 to 70. And now people would also like to know if this is the same case between level 1 and 60. So this I tested first on Burning Crusade to see the experience, and then I copied the character to Wrath of the Lich King, and you need the exact same experience at level 57. I also tested this on one of my lower level characters. In Burning Crusade I need 50,000 experience to level up, and in Wrath of the Lich King it's the exact same number, so it seems like there's no experience nerf between level 1 to 60. If they ever decide to do some changes to this, then you can also expect to see this in one of the upcoming episodes. One of my subscribers would like to know if the Mage Mana Gem shares cooldown with Flame Cap. In this test I use my Mana Gem first, and when I use this there's no cooldown on the Flame Cap. So no, Mana Gems and Flame Cap doesn't share cooldown. Will you be able to send items to one of your other characters if it's from another faction? So for example from Horde to Alliance or the other way around. And no, you will not be able to do this with random items. In fact, I doubt you will even be able to do this with heirloom items. But sadly I can't get them yet because I need to reach level 80 and start doing heroics. When I have enough emblems, I will definitely test this to see what you will be able to do with the different heirloom items. Will you be able to use Water Walk as a shaman and use a mount at the same time and ride underwater, just like a Death Knight will be able to with Path of Frost? Before I tested this, then I also learned the Glyph of Water Walking. This will allow me to cast Water Walking without using any reagents. But yes, it seems like you will be able to use Water Walking followed by a mount and ride underwater. You will even be able to use the spell on a friendly target and give them Water Walking too. So now both of you will easily be able to cross the water without having to spend too much time swimming. Just remember that whenever you apply Water Walking and if you jump into the water from great distance, you will also take fall damage and even lose the Water Walking buff. So be careful of this. I'm not sure if I understand this question correctly, but I will try my best. If you have dual specialization, then you also have two different glyph trees. So whenever you apply a glyph to one talent tree, you will also need to apply the same glyph if you need that in the other talent tree. Regarding the last question, then you can apply glyphs wherever you would like to, so you don't need to be in a main city in order to do this. If you make a fresh Death Knight and you complete the starting zone quest, will you then be able to have enough reputation with Argent Dawn in order to pick up the different quests at this location? Sadly, it seems like this will not be the case, so you will need to do some Stratholme runs or other things in order to get reputation with the Argent Dawn. When you have taken care of this, you will also be able to pick up the different quests in Light's Hope. In Wrath of the Lich King, target dummies and all other things that are immune to damage will not be things you will be able to attack and level up your weapon skills. This is even the same case with the different monsters outside the Dark Portal, where you usually level up your weapon skills even though they're immune. But in Blasted Lands, there's one particular monster that you will not be able to kill, but it's not immune to damage. Therefore, you will be able to level up your weapon skills by attacking this one. There's been a high request to test if Death Knights will be able to use Death and Decay at this location to pull the whole instance. But when I tested this, the monsters were also evading and immune to damage. And trust me, I've tested this at so many different locations, pulling all the different monsters up there. Nothing happens, so it seems like you will not be able to pull the whole instance by using Death and Decay in the beginning of Ramparts. This used to be such an amazing way to farm a ton of gold in Wrath of the Lich King, so I guess some of you might be a bit disappointed to see this. Do you know what will not disappoint me? If you decide to subscribe to the channel, because that way I'll be able to spend even more hours making content creation every single week. This is also going to be the end of the video, so remember to watch part 1 to 8 if you haven't already done that. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.